Are you using the comparison filters inside Google Search Console? And I'm not talking about the ones for dates. If you're not, you may not be getting everything out of Google Search Console you possibly could be. This is Mike from the SEO Pub, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to use the compare feature inside Google Search Console. Now, I train a lot of SEOs, I do a lot of coaching calls with SEOs, and I'm always amazed at how many are not even aware that this feature exists, and how many kind of have seen it, they know it's there, and they just never really use it. This is something I think you can use to get a lot of additional information out of Google Search Console about how your site's performing. I think everyone's aware of the compare feature under the date range. I think everyone uses that, where you can compare the last 3 months versus the previous 3 months, or you can compare year-over-year data. But what I'm talking about is the compare feature under the other filters, the query page, etc. So a lot of people use the filter query, but just completely ignore the compare feature. Obviously, you can use the query filter to sort for specific search terms you're looking for, or to search for everything except certain search terms you're looking for. You can also use regex filters, as I showed in previous videos. But what you can also do is use the compare feature, and you can use this. I use this in two ways mainly. One, I use it to see how my brand terms are doing versus non-branded terms. And the other way is I use it to compare topic clusters. So for example, let's say I was working with ClickUp. So if I wanted to see how the brand terms were doing versus non-brand terms, I would put ClickUp in here. And then down here, I want to compare it versus queries not containing ClickUp. And to be honest, for a brand like ClickUp, I would probably use a regex filter, because I would want to see ClickUp. I'd also spell it with a space in between, because some people will spell it that way. Even if you have a brand that has like misspellings or common misspellings, you probably want to use a regex filter for both of these and put those misspellings in there. And in this way, then you can see how your branded terms are doing versus non-branded terms. So for example, I'll put in the brand that I'm working with in this project, and we'll look at queries not containing the brand name. And we'll pull them up here, and now we can quickly see how the brand is doing versus terms without the brand. The other thing you can do is, if you had a topic cluster you wanted to look at and how it's doing versus another topic cluster. For example, maybe we have a topic cluster about flowcharts, and I want to see how it's doing versus another topic cluster we have about mind maps. And again, I'd probably use a regex filter here to include singular versus plural terms. Some people are going to spell flowcharts as 2 words. Some people are going to spell mind maps as 1 word. So I put all those variations in there. And then I can see how my topic clusters are doing compared to one another between flowcharts and mind maps. And I'll use something like this just to give me some ideas on where there's some opportunities, maybe which ones I want to focus on going forward, anything like that. Another option is under the page filter. You can also compare pages. So you could use this to compare, say, how individual service pages are doing. You could use this. I use this a lot to compare a home page versus the rest of the site, just at a quick glance, to see, is most of the search traffic coming into the home page? Are the supporting pages doing well and getting their own traffic? You can also use this, and what I most frequently use this for is to compare how sections of a site are doing versus either the rest of the site or versus one another. What I mean by that is, let's say this site has a blog, so I want to see how the blog is doing, and this is a reason why it's a good idea to put blog in your URL, or learn, or resources, or news, or whatever you want to call it. Have something you can identify all your blog articles by, instead of having them just attached to the root domain. And then I'm going to compare this to URLs that are not containing blog in them. And I can see that the rest of the sites obviously on this particular site gets a ton more traffic than the blog does. We have several different resource sections that drive the majority of traffic for this site, so that's what I would expect. But on a lot of sites, I may want to see how the blog's doing compared to another section. Or if we have a /learn section, I may want to see how that's doing compared to a /resources section that we have. Or if we have a help center that's in there, /help. By using this compare filter, I can see how different sections are doing compared to one another. And if you wanted to lump multiple sections together, you can again use a regex filter to do this. If you don't know how to do that, just put it in the ChatGPT. It'll spit out the code for you that you need. You can also compare how the site's doing in different countries. So if you want to see how your UK traffic is doing versus your US traffic, or your traffic from Australia versus India, or wherever, you can compare traffic from different countries. And then one that I use a lot is the device comparison, which allows me to see, okay, how much traffic are we getting from desktop searches versus mobile searches. And there you see the majority for this site, the majority of traffic is from desktop searches. So those are just some of the ways that I use the compare feature inside Google Search Console to gather more information that I can use for my search campaigns. If you haven't already, head over to the SEOpub.com, sign up for the newsletter there, where I send out tips like this every single week. There's also a Slack community you can join. The Slack community is free to join. Inside there, we just talk about SEO and answer questions about SEO topics. All right, that's it for this video. I'll catch everyone in the next one.